Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dynamite Gaming. Now, as a channel, I try to stick to being more of a gaming content like Let's Plays, kind of reaction videos, sometimes just rants, sometimes I go off on my favorite games. But I found out just today, extremely recently, like in the last 24 hours, that RetroPlay Australia actually filed for liquidation, and no one really knew about it until someone searched up the company and found out what was going on. So the first thing I thought I'd do, which you probably saw on the first slide, is I looked up what exactly liquidation means. Now, most of us have an idea, but I thought I'd look up the exact definition over here on Wikipedia, and it's a process in accounting by which a company is brought to an end. So in other words, RetroPlay of Australia is done. They don't exist anymore as far as they're concerned with what's been reported. And you can see it applies to Canada, UK, US, Ireland, Australia. They are in Australia and many other countries. The assets and property of the company are redistributed. Liquidation is also sometimes referred to as winding up or dissolution. Although dissolution technically refers to the last stage of liquidation, the process for liquidation also arises when customs, an authority or agency in a country responsible for collecting and safeguarding customs duties, determines the final computation or ascertainment of the duties or drawback accruing on an entry. You see we have a Corporations Act over here of the company named RetroPlay. And you can see it says, notice is given that at a general meeting of the members of the company held on the 16th of January this year, it was resolved that the company, that was yesterday by the way, it was resolved that the company be wound up and that Edwin Narayan and Graham Ward are appointed, okay, yeah, they're appointed the liquidators. So, I mean, this is concerning. Now, why is this concerning? Well, if you head over to their website, everything's still up and running. And I guess I'll explain this later, but Dave, who I believe is the head of RetroPlay, I don't know what his position exactly was, but I mean, he's pretty much the go-to guy. He's in all their YouTube videos that you might have seen on YouTube. He apparently has shut off his phone or, basically cut contact with anybody, and basically you can't reach him at all. And if you go to their website, they have a 10% off store-wide sale, which is interesting. You know what I mean? What a time to have that. And let's just say I wanted to buy an arcade machine. Here you go. Look, everything is still here. Everything. Hot item. Yeah, the most expensive one is hot, of course. So if I say add to cart, they have a nice website, by the way, too, which is a shame. There, if I go to my cart. Hello? Is this thing going to work? Check it out. I can proceed to checkout right now. Look, there's their phone number. Dave's email. I could go buy this right now, even though they're clearly ceasing operations. Now, I was lucky enough to get into the RetroPlay Where's My Machine or Refund support group. And there's a lot of useful information here that I'm glad I joined in to see. You can see right in the about here on the 28th of 2022, a new group for many who have purchased or planning to purchase machines from RetroPlay and have been ghosted. This group is set up to help discuss, assist, and for those where all else fails, take legal action to get our money back. A case is currently waiting a session, and RetroPlay owes at least $20,000 to $30,000 in refunds or goods not delivered. And you can, I'm going to scroll all through here, but I got to start off by saying that this is probably the worst way to go out of business. I mean, he is just creating so many enemies, or at least this company is creating so many enemies, doing the worst thing possible, basically defrauding people, stealing their money. And these people, I've read through some of them, haven't heard from him in like a year. But, I mean, people are obviously concerned. They were able to speak with somebody at some point, and they haven't received anything. So that's, that's crazy. So I thought, let's take a quick scroll through the group before I move on to one last final piece. And I hope everyone's okay with me using their names here. I don't think it's really a big deal. I think it's important that people know, who's been hurt in this process. And despite not having all the information that I can gather here is things fell off the rails and they basically put their hands up and said, we're not responsible. So You can see Michael Shears here said him and someone else are planning to meet at the shop at 10 a.m. So if we follow it up, I have to scroll a bit down here. But here is one of the photos he took at the shop. He had said no one was there. And one of the customers here, Gary, said, Anthony, that is mine, 100%. I have proof of the design. So, they're still holding inventory on people. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, these people paid for these. Here's someone that actually got a build, but... So here's him. Apparently, Dave is sending stuff, or whoever, from RetroPlay to customers. This guy is saying he didn't even order anything and he received something. Here's Garrett Flint, who's the admin, and I want to read this one. If you haven't already seen it, the scumbag, that's not his words, not mine, has put RetroPlay into administration. The following might not be worth much, but at least the many negative reviews and work taken to put those reviews in has taken down a predator. Someone who has preyed on kids, low-income households, people with special needs, and people who he knew were dropping their savings into something special. Don't know where that's coming from. I can't confirm or deny any of that. Sounds crazy. He preyed on all these people knowing what he was doing, but although at our own cost, we have stopped him from preying on future victims. People sharing their stories here have stopped people from investing more money, and I hope those that joined see what was up before ordering were spared. I'm in tears over this, more for the fact that I have been fighting this since August of 2022. My goodness. With the ACCC, Consumer Affairs of Victoria, and all failing to help him out. It's deeply infuriating to see criminal behavior rewarded whilst we get shafted and ignored. I've sent an email to the liquidators to see if they'll let us know the process and if we can get anything back at all. But don't hold your breath. I mean, sounds like bad news. I'm also requesting his finances and will likely seek them legally if there's a way, as I'm still convinced he has been taking money from the business, which might give us some legal recourse to sue him. I don't plan to let him just walk away and wash his hands of this. He's not declaring bankruptcy. He's just shutting down a business. Okay, so he's not declaring any form of bankruptcy. This likely means nothing to him. I think the worst thing is he can't start another company right away. Well, that's my rant. I feel for those that have lost their money and can't afford to go elsewhere. I hope there is some good coming your way in the future. This group will stay up until everything RetroPlay is finished, including if I find a way to go after him legally. Pretty interesting there. Here's from Danny McDonald. He has now disconnected his mobile number as well. Have texted and called every day for weeks, but now it's disconnected. He recently advised he would refund my money via text, but he's full of shit. And this is 18 hours ago. From all the people answering questions joining the group, about a half to 2/3 of the people who have paid money and not received a machine, with some getting the wrong items or damaged. The amounts paid vary from $800 to $12,000, with about $3,000 to $5,000 being the average. Based on what people have written on my post, there's $30,000 total there, and I'd estimate another $30,000 to $50,000 from people joining who ordered last year or haven't posted in the pinned post. Added a whole bunch who probably don't know about this group, and you can expect he owes around $70,000 plus. He disconnected his landline and mobile, shut down his Facebook and Google business site. Does it sound like he's taking your money and fleeing? I would say it does. Oh, so here's the guy who went to the store 10:30 a.m. On the 17th, which I believe is today. It was closed, and you can see all the shipping crates inside. I don't want to go through all the photos here, but, I mean, you can see everything's still there. Just nobody home. Dave is nowhere to be found, even though all these people have all these products they've purchased. And he's trying to liquidate everything? I mean, this poor Anthony Duncan guy. This Anthony Duncan guy bought 2 machines from him. He might not see either. Mr. Damian Mark, I can't afford to lose $4.4K, but more than that devastation on my children's faces now. I'd like to 100% support you in suing the scum and getting mine and my money back. And I've gone to the police and submitted a fraud case as well. People are sending him messages. I saw a post before. Unfortunately, it's just a mess right now. I mean, this is all brand new news for a lot of people, but a lot of these people have been just posting. He turned off the comments on his YouTube videos now, too. Very interesting. Definitely not something for someone who's, scamming people. Here's Michael Trey. This is my son's situation. Posting on behalf of him as he does not have a Facebook account. Paid a 50% deposit of $1,100 on invoice 1899 on the 18th of November for a Guitar Pro arcade machine. Messaged in after 4 weeks, check on his progress, was told waiting on a part. Checked again later, told there's further delays. The staff was on annual leave is the next thing they got. As of writing today, the company business details have been wiped from Google. And people are saying, file a dispute with your bank for fraud. I put an order for Guitar Pro PC plus guitars. Dan Saida put a 50% deposit on a pinball machine back in October 2021. Over 61 weeks since he placed his order. I mean, it's just... This Elliot Laughlin paid his in full $1,400. More annoyed at myself for not looking into reviews. I'm not going to go into reviews, but in this next segment, I want to go over a video with you guys that Dave posted recently. So Dave released this video on November 22nd of 2022, basically giving a heads up that he was working 6 to 7 days a week, and he was having some personal family issues with, I don't want to go into all the details of exactly what was going on, especially because I don't know all of them, but Dave said he was having trouble, obviously, with one of his kids, and there was some massive family issues, and something very traumatic happened, and yeah, it seemed to be a downward spiral from there. Now, we didn't know it would turn into this, where he was going to kind of mess with other people's pockets. But what is going on is horrible from RetroPlay, and I really hope people get their money back. And if anyone wants to share any information or any stories on this video, if you want to share any of your experiences with RetroPlay on this video, feel free. I'd love to hear from you of what your thoughts on everything that we know, and hopefully I can do a follow-up video if we find out more in the next upcoming week or so. For anyone that's been affected by this, from the bottom of my heart, I sincerely do apologize. I understand there's a lot of money in this business. When you're trying to build your own home personal arcade, it's a dream of mine. It's probably a dream of yours, or maybe one of your friends who invested. And I seriously hope everything works out for you. And, if you need someone to talk to, drop a comment. Maybe I'd be willing to reach out and at least, try and help you in any regard. But, I obviously feel terrible about the whole situation. And I think Dave owes people not only an apology, to be a lot more transparent and come out and speak about what's going on, because how it looks right now is really bad for him. I'll talk to you guys soon.